If you're looking to conquer one of the best overlanding routes in the Northeast during the best season of the Northeast, well then you're in the right place. We've left the summer heat and mosquitoes behind us as fall in New England takes its effect. And what better time to take on Maine's most legendary logging road? So buckle up and get ready to experience the Golden Road during the golden season. In this series, we'll experience Maine through the seasons, covering 6 days of adventure travel as we move from the coastline to the ancient logging roads of the North Maine woods. Join us as we venture through the Pine Tree State and encounter plenty of challenges between the oldest lighthouse and the Canadian border. Welcome to the North Maine Adventure. Today's goal was to make it to the Canadian border and begin our drive down the Golden Road from northwest to southeast. Since we were starting at the furthest point of the Golden Road, and the Golden Road is 96 miles, we wanted to make sure we had enough fuel. We'd later learn that exploring various offshoot trails would leave us with barely enough gas, so don't make the same mistake we did. And since the Golden Road is our primary focus today, why don't we start with a quick history lesson. The road was built between 1969 and 1972 by the Great Northern Paper Company, and was originally considered a private road only to be used by Great Northern Paper Company logging vehicles. In those days, all you would find on the road are big trucks hauling timber from the Canadian border to the paper company mill in Millinocket. Today, the road is open to the public, so long as we treat it respectfully. Just remember that if you visit here, the road is 96 miles of dirt and potholes. And fuel consumption should absolutely be on your mind, just like it was ours. But it turns out fuel wouldn't be our only concern, as the dense forest made flying drones a bit of a chore. Jeremy started the day by burying his drone in the woods, which made me pretty nervous because he's a better flyer than I am. I almost crashed my drone at a previous campsite under near perfect conditions. So they say slow and steady wins the race. And I usually take my time flying my drone. Jeremy, on the other hand, has been flying like a maniac today.
Hopefully we caught that on camera.
Yeah,
we did.
He says to me, I'll beat you back." Starts racing his drone back. What happened?
A tree got in the way.
What'd you do?
A tree got in the way.
Yeah.
It just jumped out.
Just jumped out. A tree just jumped out, and
But guess what? Drone's alive.
Drone's alive. Yeah. Hoping that the drone would be our only technical difficulty of the day, we decided to demonstrate some vehicle sympathy and air down our tires before even making it to the Golden Road. I think we can speak to the quality of the General Tire because we haven't had to air down, really, and I know I've been on these logging roads like 2 years ago, and I had a different set of tires, and they took a beating, and it was extremely uncomfortable. Yeah, it was no fun, but let's do this.
Let's do it.
For the record, we're not sponsored by General Tire, although that'd be awesome. We just really enjoy their quality and performance. And it turns out airing down at that time was perfect, because the side trails we were about to explore were a bit softer and messier than we expected. But braving the mud was totally worth it. We even stumbled across a potential campsite to mark on our map for future use.
Oh, look, you're filming too.
Oh wow, you're filming. Oh, who would have guessed?
Look at this camp spot.
This camp spot, yeah, this is great. Just took that little offshoot. I mean, I wouldn't call it little. It was definitely several hundred feet, but quite muddy. But this is an established camp spot. It's got a picnic table, a little fire ring. Trucks are a little drippy right now, a little muddy. Having some fun out on the trail, making sure these General tires get put to good use with all the wind and rain that Maine has seen over the last couple weeks. Some of these trails are getting a little muddy and messy, but it is certainly fun. It wasn't long before we found ourselves on the furthest section of the Golden Road, heading straight for the Canadian border. Alright, so we made it to the border of US and Canada. It's actually right over there. So this is the official start of our journey on the Golden Road. Maybe get a shot of the border patrol crossing, and then we're just going to take off and start heading deeper into the Maine wilderness. So from here on begins our journey down the Golden Road. And of course, like any good adventure, we barely got started before I ran into a small problem. So already about 15 to 20 miles into the Golden Road, and you can see all these little divots and potholes, and in some cases full-on corrugations on the road, and it is just like rattle, 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 rattle. I mean, we have aired down, but I just wanted to point out, I came back here to go into my cooler and noticed that my tonneau cover actually rattled into the open position. Like it's still locked, but it rattled open. Very interesting. I can't imagine what it would be like if we weren't aired down with some newer suspension setups. Despite both of our trucks having suspension components that are barely a year old, there is only so much abuse that your other equipment can handle before it begins to fail. But unlike our last adventure through Maine, one of the components I won't be having an issue with this time is my Kuat bed rack. In the 3 months since our last experience on the Golden Road, I was able to disassemble the rack, apply the Loctite that I should have in the first place, add the tonneau kit adapter, and change the height of the load bars to add a more aerodynamic effect with my Gazelle ground tents on top. About 40 miles into our trek down the Golden Road, we stopped to have a quick conversation about the possibility of exploring one of Maine's other hidden treasures, the ghost trains. So we took a hard left off the road and into the woods. Just puddle after puddle after puddle. We get it. It's muddy out here. Oh my, holy cow. You're gonna want to see this. What? We turned the corner back there in the woods. The trail was so tight and narrow. No evidence of anything like this. We turn the corner, pull out, and Jeremy goes on the radio. Well, he said a not very nice word, but we were both very surprised. Like, this is insane. And that is an established campsite. So let's keep that in mind. But wow. What's that saying about not knowing what's around the corner, but pushing on anyway? I think this moment is a perfect example as to why overlanding can be so exciting. One minute you're worried about getting stuck in the mud, and the next you are awestruck by a beautiful view like this. Of course my phone fell over. Why would it stay up straight? Urgh. You thought I was going to get all sentimental on you for a second there, didn't you? Back to the adventure. We took a turn off of the Golden Road close to 40 miles ago. We were hoping to get to the elusive ghost trains that are parked out in the middle of the wilderness. The trail that we were taking from Onyx is supposed to lead us down this way, but it's actually a dead end. There is no trail. It just it ends there, and then it's just straight, like wilderness. And we are currently mathing out the whole do we have enough fuel question. And to play it safe, I think we're just going to add the ghost trains to the we'll hit it next time list. We got to head back to the Golden Road, and with any luck, we'll find a really nice camp spot before the end of the day.
Before it gets dark out too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Please. Let's do that.
Let's do that.
Okay.
All right.
It's about this point in the afternoon when the lack of sleep from the night before, coupled with the many miles traveled today, begin to set in. I can't be held responsible for what happens next.
What you see behind me is a giant pile of stones, left from the elusive Rockosaurus rex that roams these wildernesses. Occasionally, they like to cross the trail and leave their droppings for us to go over.
Listen, if Clay Croft from X Overland can wear his underwear on his head on camera during one of their expeditions, I'm not going to feel bad about being silly myself. Man, this fall foliage is just stunning. At least I assume it is, if I could see it. Pulling over for a second to see if I can do something about this muddy window situation. Oh yeah, definitely worse. So I'm just chilling here on the side of the Golden Road. Jeremy left to do a little recon on a spot that he thinks he might have seen on Onyx. And I hung out here so that I could adjust my wiring situation. I've got like my drone and my phone and stuff all plugged in, but the wires were all messed up. And then I was going to grab some snacks, and some guys just drove by. They stopped. A couple older gentlemen asked me if I was okay, if I had broken down or anything. Everybody out here waves. Everybody out here stops and asks if you're okay. Like, it's so, like, it's awesome, it's cool, but it's also, my first thought was like, it's so bizarre because where we're from in Connecticut, like, people don't do that. People would just drive by. So that's awesome. But they said they saw 3 moose this morning, and they're moose hunting right now, and I haven't seen a moose yet being in Maine. Any luck?
It's a grassy field.
Grassy field. All right. Onward. Cool beans. Onward. While being slightly disappointed that we hadn't found a campsite yet, we were unaware that we were about to stumble across one of the greatest spots either of us has ever found. Well, people, this is something else. I mean, holy cow. Holy cow. It's so quiet. It's so quiet. Like there's no wind. And all I can hear is like the sound of the small little like beady waves just going bloop as they hit the rocks here. Like it's dead silent. It's insane. I cannot believe it. Jeremy just said, you can overland for years and never find a spot this good. And yeah, I agree. This is just incredible. Holy smokes. And to see all the colors of the trees on the other side of the lake. Man. Worth it. So worth it. Rolling into that camp spot last night in the dark, I was thinking to myself, well, at least a campsite like that, which is just basically a flat spot in the dirt in the middle of the woods. I said to myself, at least a camp spot like that will make us appreciate tomorrow night's camp spot even better. And I don't think there was anything that was going to be as good as this campsite. So I think anything we had last night would have made us appreciate this more. Man. Incredible. I keep referencing moments of overlanding that make it so appealing to me, and this is definitely at the top of the list. Coming up in the final episode of the North Maine Adventure, we'll continue exploring this wonderful campsite more and brave one last challenge Maine would have for us. Will we be able to conquer the Golden Road, or will we have to throw in the towel? Be sure to return to the Varsity Overland channel to find out. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the content, consider subscribing to the channel or joining my Varsity Team members page. Videos like this could not have been possible without the support from my channel sponsors and channel members. Thank you so much.